I'm Venus. I am not working currently. I stay home and take care of my son. I'm a mother. I volunteer at the food pantry at Crossline Community Church. I mean, the groceries are so expensive. Rent hasn't inflated, utilities have inflated. I have found that I had to come back to the food pantry to help substitute my budget. Sometimes there's no meat, sometimes there's no dairy, no eggs or cheese, and sometimes there's no produce or just dry goods, canned goods, pasta. The food pantry has been a really big lifesaver financially, saving me from times when I was homeless to times that I was in need. In return, it's been a big benefit asking if I can volunteer at the food pantry, and it's been very rewarding. I'm just so grateful, super, super grateful.
We are scheduled to do a pickup at OC today, and we're getting only 2 pallets. I remember we used to be able to put 12 pallets of food from OC, and now it has dropped considerably to 2 and maybe 3. We are running scarce of supplies, so we make the best that we can based on what the locals now are giving us.
My name is Louis Jonas, and I'm the coordinator of the Crossline Food Pantry. Running the food distribution is not an easy thing because there are so many components that are essential for it to be streamlined and for it to be running effectively. We rely so much on the food banks, particularly OC Food Bank. They have been wonderful to us. But I do know this, that because of the COVID-19, because of the variants, because of the lockdowns, now inflation has put a tremendous dent and impact into the food chain.
There's no question in my mind that the food chain has been affected tremendously, and we see that by what we are receiving. For the last 3 years, we have always exceeded 2.1 million pounds of food distribution. I don't believe that we will get close to that this year at all. As a matter of fact, we are running quite low. We distribute what we get, and they take what we have. Here is no longer a choice system, they're going to take whatever you give them. There's not much of a choice in that. Whatever we get, we will distribute it to them. We just hope for the best.
The food banks need help, and they need your help. And we have been that light shining in the midst of darkness for them, where they feel at home, that they can come here and they know that we can supply them with the food that they need to eat.
We serve hot meals every day, so 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We're always open. Weekends we also serve breakfast on Saturday and Sunday, so we never close. My name is Hector Salguero. I'm the center coordinator here at Southwest Community Center. On a weekly basis, well over almost 1,000, I would say. We just for the hot meals program that we have every day, we average 80 to 100. I would say these last couple of months, it's been over 100. This last Friday, it was the biggest I've ever seen. We did 120 meals in one afternoon, basically. So for us, that's a pretty big number. Got to adjust to those bigger and bigger numbers we've been getting recently. We rely almost entirely on donations. This center would not exist, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for the donations of those members of the community.
The demand for our services was unprecedented starting out in March of 2020 with unemployment, food insecurity. And one way I always try to describe it, in 2019, we did 23 million pounds of food. In 2020, we did 63 million pounds of food, so almost 3 times the level. And what we saw was more families who had never come to us before. We call them the newly vulnerable, were now in line for a food box and for other services in a way that they weren't before. Not only are we dealing with the impact and effects of a pandemic, unemployment, hunger, food insecurity in our community, now we're dealing with another enemy, and we call that enemy inflation. And that inflation has impacted food prices, it's impacted gas prices, it's impacted housing prices. And so when we look at what we've done this year alone, we've done 13 million pounds of food this year alone. That is equivalent to about 1 million meals that we've done for families. And so on a typical year, we're able to get donated food, we're able to get some of our commodities, and now we're finding ourselves having to write our own check. So 50% of the food that we're now getting, we're actually purchasing. Currently, we're doing about 540,000 pounds of food every single week. That equates to about $500,000 that we need every single month to even meet that demand. If there ever was a time that we needed our partners in our community to step in, now is that time. Many of our families who are dealing with food insecurity and hunger are really struggling just to make ends meet. This is more than just a donation. This is more than just another event. This is about making an investment into an organization that's making a difference.